And God says, in my grace, I don't want the Egyptians, the mighty people of the world. I want the abused. That's where I'm going to show my glory. And he says, I'm going to take you from being this band of Hebrew slaves, and I'm going to make you into a mighty nation where I'm going to bring the Messiah who's going to save the world from this band of slaves. I'm going to give you a new identity. You will be my people. I will be your God. Right now, you're Pharaoh's people. That's at least what you think about yourself. I'm going to make you my people. Right now, many of you are owned by others in your thoughts, in your experiences. And what God is saying to you is, I'm going to make you my people. I'm going to make you my daughter. I'm going to make you my son. In order to do that, I'm going to redeem you first. And then you will call me God. I will call you son. I will call you daughter. God finds much worth in you even when you feel that you have been made worthless, like the Israelites. You don't feel like you have a lot of worth. You feel that shame and that guilt. And yet God is saying, I find a lot of worth in you. And what does he tell us in verse 7? He says, you're going to know me. That's a key word there. Intimately. You're going to know me intimately. Whenever we hear the word know throughout the scriptures, it's usually, a lot of times, that's to do with sexual intercourse. One of the most intimate acts between two human beings, between a man and a woman. I'm going to know you, God says. I'm going to know your innermost thoughts. I'm going to know everything about you. You're going to be fully known by me. You're going to fully know me. I'm not going to reject you. Even though I know that you were a slave, I know what's been done to you. Now, here's the thing. If God fully knows you, what is there to fear about you? What is there to fear that others might know about you? If God fully knows you and says, that's my son, that's my daughter, what do you have to fear? Fear is often associated with shame. What can shame you when God of the universe, omnipotent God says, I know you and I accept you by the righteousness of Jesus. By my grace, I'm ridding you of your disgrace. I know you. I know what's been done. I was there. A lot of you wonder about, where was God when I was being abused? Where was God when I was being raped? Where was God? He was in the same place he was when his son was put on a cross and died. Many of you ask, why didn't God do something about that situation? Why didn't he do anything? He did. He died for you. He died for that situation. He died to bring you grace where there was none. So you can be unashamed. And he knows you and he knows everything about you. He says, I love them. They're mine. You know, when I was young, some of the worst words you could ever hear from your brother or your sister were, I'm telling. Right? You could have done nothing. Nothing at all. And they say, I'm telling. Don't. You could have been innocent. Don't tell on me. No, I'm telling. I'm going to tell on, and they would make something up and you would start believing it. Please don't. My kids do this all the time. They're masters at it. I'm telling too, and then they're all telling, all of them. They're all telling. Isn't that exactly what Satan does? So the next time somebody says, I'm telling, say, get behind me, Satan. Isn't that exactly what Satan does? The accuser. I'm telling. You know what you get to say to Satan? On what? That's what the Bible's telling us here. On what? What are you going to tell on? That I was sexually abused? That I've abused others? Jesus became that. He knows all about it and says, son, tell. Martin Luther used to say that I am glad when Satan accuses me of my sin, for it is sinners for which Christ died. He reminds me, So keep on reminding me that I'm a sinner. Because Jesus died for me. Brought me into relationship with him. You will know God because the barrier of sin and shame has been removed. And Jesus says this to his disciples, I no longer call you servants, I call you friends. I call you brothers. I'm giving you a new identity.